Welcome back to another DFS Army Showdown breakdown. Thursday night football. The Washington Commanders head out to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Packers are favored at home here, Bobbywow, by 3.5 with a 48-point total. Let's get it going. It's been a monster week at DFS Army, Bobbywow, including the showdowns. So I don't want to, the showdown can get as much love. But we've been crushing some showdowns. Of course, the $1 million winner in week one, the endless screenshots. That's just one. Endless screenshots of tournament wins, first, second, third places all over the place. Absolutely hammered week one. It's the beginning of week two. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. Let's do it. Hard to beat that. Hard to beat week one, right? You said obviously the Millie's gonna overshadow some things, rightfully so. But the showdowns have been on fire. It's been awesome, man.
We had a showdown winner, 83K in a 5-way tie on DraftKings. It has been a week one to remember. We've got our celebratory code for the Millie Maker winner. Promo code Millie to sign up at DFS Army. 20% off any subscription that locks in. New users only. Now, so we're excited. We're excited to keep this going. And we got an exciting Thursday night football matchup here between two teams that started off with a bang. Both teams looking pretty good. You got the Packers at home taking on the Commanders. Commanders, look to take a big step up here. Lots of injuries. Our matchup tool is working, Bobbywow.
It's back. Yeah, we are back.
Yeah. So this is, sort of one of the secret weapons for crushing these showdowns. Of course, the matchups tool will get some snap counts. I've also heard that our simulation domination model is now active for showdown slates as well. So a lot of tools going, and of course the projection system. But let's jump right into it. There's some mysteries on these teams, Bobbywow, and you're going to take me through. You're from that part of the world.
Ish. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like, Green Bay is in a different, almost a different planet. It's only a couple hours for me, but
it's literally all the same. When you're from New York, that's called flyover country, and we don't differentiate.
There you go.
At all. It's all the same. The northern states, Wisconsin, Minnesota, it's all the same place to me. I have no differentiation whatsoever. It's all the same.
Fair enough.
Minnesota. I never know where DFS up north is from. I always is he Minnesota, Wisconsin? I don't know. I can't remember. Michigan. Could be any of those places. I don't even know.
Close to Canada somewhere. It's got to be.
Yes. I know it's, that's it. All right. So let's get into these two teams, Bobbywow. The home team, Packers. What mysteries do they have? All of the mysteries lie not in Josh Jacobs, who had an 87% snap count last week and got pretty much all of the touches. I don't think we need to worry too much about backup running back there. Tucker Kraft, 91% snap count last week, out there the entire time. So great.
Yep. That may be the only non-mystery.
Yes.
Is Josh Jacobs is the guy.
And Tucker Kraft. I'll give them both. They're going to be out there.
Tucker Kraft, yeah.
Then at wide receiver, man, you talk about a lot of names being shuffled about. Romeo Doubs, 70%. That's the highest snap share of anybody. And then they just rolled in Golden, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and then even somebody named John Oh, no, he's the tight end, I guess. John Fitzpatrick. I'm like, who the hell is that guy? Dontavian Wicks, Savion Williams got a couple snaps. Malik Heath on the field for 22% of the snaps as well. So turds galore.
And I think the most important thing to look at there, a couple columns over, is the target percentage. Look at that. Look how ugly and disgusting that is.
No one surpassed 10% of the targets.
No one had double-digit target percentage.
That's I thought it was right. I almost think the numbers are wrong. How is it possible?
They spread the football around quite a bit.
Yeah. So pretty gross. Reed's got the busted foot as well. I didn't even think I thought he was going to lose the season, but somehow he's still there and fine. I think Savion Williams might have gotten banged up in that game. I'm not sure if it matters, but I think that did happen. Matthew Golden, the rookie, massive disappointment compared to the other rookies.
Yes, he was a disappointment. I would be shocked if that trend did not continue here, but
you think it will continue?
I do. I tend to think, at least over the course of the season, there was
Wait, I feel like you know something and you're not fully
no, it just feels like when they drafted him, it was kind of like, okay, we're taking a chance here. And then all of a sudden, like, his stock went way up for really no reason whatsoever. And then we got to week 1, and I think he kind of landed where he was expected to land when he was drafted. So he could kind of rise to the top here. It is a great situation for him. Like, he has every opportunity to become like the number 1 wide receiver in this offense. So certainly the chances are there, but it was really disappointing to say the least.
And the snap counts for Jaden Reed, I mean, he got a bunch of targets, but he was only out there for 37% of the snaps, which is not good. Last year, he was more of a 60%. I think the injury is affecting him as well. So really kind of an oddball situation going on with the Packers. Let's take a look at the Commanders, because the running back status is that I ran to look. That was like the first thing I went to look up when the slate ended last week. I was like, Billy Merritt, what's the deal, right? How much, what was the split looking like? And I will tell you, Bobbywow, the split in my mind I still think Bill Krosky Merritt is the best of the running backs here, but it was pretty even split with him and Eckler.
It wasn't even split. I think the notable thing there is Krosky Merritt, he got more of the touches on the ground. He got more of the handoffs, and Eckler was a little bit more involved in the passing game.
But
I think not a ton, but I think we can expect that type of kind of game script to play out again here, where Krosky Merritt will get the bulk of the touches, but Eckler will be out there. He'll have his fair share of snaps. I don't think anyone's going to have like a huge snap count over the other, outside of a blowout, and Eckler will be in there with some PPR pass catching upside.
I'm interested to see, without having looked at the salaries. I looked at the fantasy points per dollars on the slate, but I actually am recalling now that I didn't directly look at the salaries for some of these guys. So without having looked at it, going in blind, Bobbywow, don't look. Look. Do not look. What do you think Eckler and Krosky Merritt should be priced at on DraftKings? And which one do you think should be priced higher than the other?
Man, I think they should both be priced lower than what we'd see for a typical RB1. I think both of them should
definitely
be if I'm going to play them. And I would say, I don't know, to me, Eckler might be just still slightly more valuable on DraftKings because he has more of that pass catching upside. The books have this as a 3.5 point favorite for Green Bay, which means, Washington could be playing more from behind, or they could, more of a shootout. I think actually favors Eckler just a tiny bit still until Krosky Merritt takes more of a bulk of those snaps away, if and when. So I like Eckler just a slight bit more. I would say if he's a little bit, priced a little bit higher, I'm okay with it.
Give me a guess as far, not where the price is, but where. I mean, you can guess where it is or where you think it should be for you to want to play the guy. I have a number in my head.
I'm gonna say 6,500.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I was like in the 68, 63, maybe 7,100, 68. That's my sort of guess as to where they'll fall.
That's probably my ceiling, 70, 72 or whatever, 71.
Yeah, that seems about right to me. All right, so anyway, it was all those two guys. We thought there might be some action for Chris Rodriguez Jr. in week 1, and he was a healthy scratch. So the team basically said, no, we're good. We like what we have going on.
And a big reason why we could not have talked about it any more than we did. And that is Deebo Samuel in this backfield taking handoffs. He scored on an end around, on a handoff. And that's primarily why we don't see Chris Rodriguez. What? They don't need him.
You know who we are
They've
going to
gotten
need in our
RB3.
lineups. You know who we're going to need in our lineups though?
Debo.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, because Debo was far and away kind of the best in week 1 as far as the pass catching options on this team, followed actually by Zach Ertz. But let's see what the snap counts look like. So Debo 78%, McLaurin 78%, and then they just mixed in like turd WR3 Jalen Lane at 30%, a little bit of Noah Brown mixed in there. He got out. Actually,
Noah Brown is
got
the WR3. Yeah, he's the WR3.
So Noah Brown is a legit WR3. Got a couple targets as well. But they threw it to this other guy too, Jalen Lane.
Yeah, he got targets, played, a chunk of the snaps.
Terry McLaurin could bounce back here in this one as well. At tight end, it's really just Zach Ertz out there. John Bates is on the field a lot as a blocker. John Bates is more of a blocking tight end. They don't really throw to him very often, but he's certainly live in play for being a live body on the field. That role can get a touchdown at any time in a game like this. Probably less likely on the Commanders, where the quarterback is more likely to kind of run one in than to do the rollout. Basically, how the backup tight end generally scores is the goal line, play action, bootleg, like trick play almost, I'd call it.
And I think the higher the game total, the more likely it is we see one of those plays happen. So this could certainly be a game where we see a backup tight end score. But you know what? Why not more Ben Sinnott? I mean, this guy was he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Ertzy, and now Ertzy's still catching touchdowns here. What's going on?
Ertz is still doing his thing. So it will happen. It's just a matter of time. Ertz generally gets hurt, is an older player, but he seems to be a veteran presence that Jaden Daniels appreciates. Maybe he's in the right place. Excuse me there. In the right place at the right time. I don't know. But Ertz is still out there doing his thing, and you have to respect Ertz. He's had a lot of big fantasy production games with the Commanders. So you got to put some respect on that name. Even if you don't love Zach Ertz that much, it's kind of hard to deny it. Let's take a look at the domination station, and we'll get a look at some of these projections. I don't think we have ownerships yet, unfortunately. So we are not going to be able to speak from a ownerships perspective for this one.
I don't know that we have ownerships, but I don't think this is the right game here.
Oh, what game am I on? Oh, wait, maybe we do have ownerships. Hold up. Come on, baby. No.
Not yet.
So we don't have ownerships in the system yet, so we're not going to be able to speak on that. Sorry, audience. But of course, if you are a DFS Army subscriber, log in a couple hours and we'll be able to see all the ownerships. But let's just talk through the captain position a little bit here and get into who is popping as a potential captain play on DraftKings. Obviously, I think Jaden Daniels is the top dog. Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to pay a little bit, 16.5, but he's coming off a big game. Packers defense was good in week 1. They shut down the Lions. They might be able to, they might surprise us and do some of it and shut this down somewhat. But I don't think you could fully shut that. Like the Lions offense without the running quarterback, I just think is going to function differently than this Commanders offense. Well, I'm not sure that the translation will be perfectly be there for, another Packers sort of domination.
I agree. And let's also remember, not only was it week 1, but the Lions were in a brand new system, both on offense and defense, right? So both coordinators were replaced on that team. There will be some growing pains. I think that played a role as well. The Packers are solid for sure, but
yeah. Yeah, but no, and Minka Fitzpatrick, they've added to their defensive prowess in the offseason with some trades. I think the Packers were already a very good defensive team last season. So, yeah, I think what we're getting here is an improved version of the Packers defense. We'll see, and they're back at home again. So,
yeah,
could get a little
Packers
bit of
at
that.
Lambeau are a different animal.
Yeah, they're a little better at home, certainly. But either way, I think Jaden is that top option. Josh Jacobs is the next highest props projection, even above Jordan Love. I have a hard time trusting Jordan Love.
He is a boomer bust guy that busted quite a bit last season. It was a rough go of it for Jordan Love. Yeah. But I think he's a guy in tournaments that we need to pay attention to still.
Jolo, another 15-pointer last week. This is who he is.
One of the things to note here is that there is, between quarterbacks and running backs, sometimes there's positive correlation. Oftentimes there's negative. It is very negative correlation with him and Josh Jacobs. So if you think Josh Jacobs is going to have a big game, Jordan Love likely, almost certainly is not having a big game.
Josh Jacobs, people don't know, rarely catches a pass. Not that he cannot catch a pass, but it's not been a big part of the way that they use him in Green Bay. So, 3 targets a game, 2. But he does get a lot of carries, and he's out there the whole time. So there's that. But are you saying that you'd be comfortable even sort of like, I think you could do with the domination station, you can nerf Jacobs in any kind of lineup that has Jaden Daniels in it. Or not, yeah. You can nerf him a little bit rather than full block it. Yeah, that has Jordan Love in it rather than the full block.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the route I would go. Maybe even potentially if one of them's captain, fading the other, especially if Jordan Love is captain. I don't know that I'm going to have any of those lineups, but I would probably keep Jacobs out of those, but definitely the nerf with the sim boost.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So one of the questions here is who's a sneaky captain play, but even if we go down just below really the top, listen, I don't think Jordan Love. So let me start. I don't think Jordan Love is somebody I would use at captain. Let's start there. I'm just not doing that. Period.
FanDuel MVP, I will, but probably not captain.
Yeah. Jolo, it will not. He's probably going to be, when we get ownerships, Jolo is going to be a 15% captain. Don't care. Not going to do it.
If he was like a couple percent, he's done it before. But yeah, there's no way. And he'll be 10-15% like you said.
He's the style of quarterback that could get there just because of the way they spread it, the football around. I'm just not going to do it. I'm sticking to a thing that I said at the beginning of the year, and I'm not changing. So these pocket passers, I'm simply not going to do it. And I'll do it all season consistent. And I think it will pay off in plus EV when it works.
Agreed. Ironically, it was Caleb and JJ McCarthy, that's his name, who ended up as the highest 2 scorers. I think McCarthy ended up being the captain. But
yeah, McCarthy's the exact archetype that I would not be using. But Caleb is acceptable. Caleb is going to he will get the designation as a running quarterback from me. I believe now that he is a good scrambler and a rushing quarterback, not that different from a Daniels or that style. So we'll see, but I'm giving him the respect of a running quarterback. I don't really see that for Jordan Love. He rarely runs with the ball. It's just not.
He's got to get back to it. I think that's one of the reasons that he struggled in 2024. Back in 2023, he had 50 rushing attempts. He had 250 yards. I think he scored 4 or 5 touchdowns on the ground. So
he was great for fantasy. He looked like a future star. Yeah, they will get there, guys. By the way, they will get there. Again, our research says they will get there around 23% of the time, but they're being played at captain 33% of the time. So there's EV and fading it, even when it doesn't work. Yeah. Got to stick to it. That's the problem. That's what's so difficult about DFS. The lesson you get isn't always a positive reinforcement when it doesn't go your way. But after the top 3, let's talk about some other possibilities, Bobbywow. Scary Terry coming off a bit of a dud game, but more practice. He held out for a lot of preseason. You knew it was going to take a minute for him to get his sea legs under him. Could be back. Yeah. Took a week, played a game, got another week of practice in. I think he'll be right back up to normal speed here. I don't
He'll
mind
be
that.
fine, but he won't be sneaky. I think we will see a ton of the ownership on these top 5 guys. I think they'll probably garner, I would guess, at least 75% of the captain ownership here. This is going to be a very top heavy field ownership pool, would be my hunch.
Debo,
Jaden Jacobs, Love, T-Mac, and Debo. I think will be easily 75+%.
All right. So, and then our secondary group here, and I like those guys. Listen, if you're playing Debo or Terry McLaurin, you're probably going to force the stack with Jaden Daniels. I'm fine with that. If they're your captain, I think I would even force it at that point. Beyond those two, we get to Jaden Reed, who I think is probably, if he's healthy, I don't know, but he's the most likely, doesn't have a designation, most likely, I would say, to put up a monster score of the Packers group. Like, of all of the wide receivers, is it Reed who has the best shot, even though he's got a very low floor? Maybe the best shot at like a 25+.
Yes, it's hard with the fracture in his foot. It's just really hard to have any sort of confidence there. But I think the one thing that's clear is that the Packers, when he's in, they are trying to get him the football. Like he scored a touchdown. It's not uncommon to see him take a handoff or two out of the backfield. They design plays for him, and that's kind of rare out of this wide receiver group. So yeah, I do think he has the ceiling to do it. It's really hard to have any confidence with that injury.
I wish we had, we don't have insights. We don't know. Just like anybody else, we don't know what's going to happen with somebody's fractured foot that they're trying to play the game on. Is it going to lead to another sub 40% snap count for Jaden Reed, which should limit the upside? Even if they did target him when he's in the game, if he's only getting 40% of the snaps, Bobbywow, that doesn't lead to more than 5 or 6 targets. Like, I mean,
you're right. He ran 12 routes. I mean, it's hard to be excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. You have 12 chances, and you probably need a good wide receiver. Probably you want to see him targeted 10 times to even be worth paying it. Well, that means he'd be targeted every freaking snap. That's asking a lot. So I'm not sure what to make of him, but I'm not excited about him, and I'm certainly not excited to pay the same price as Debo or Terry McLaurin.
That's the biggest issue. If he was priced cheaper in that 5-6K range, it'd be a much different story for me. That salary, though, he'll be unowned at captain, but for good reason.
It's extreme GPP only. Let's just look at the numbers here. Okay, ready? Actually, the prop projection for him is not bad, but here's the problem. I'm going to sort by salary, and you're going to see. Debo Samuel, Bobbywow, props out at that's a captain. Wait, let me go to flex here. We'll get the proper numbers. Debo props out at 13.4. Nice, right? WR1 number.
Yeah.
For the same salary, Jaden Reed props out with a 9. 9 versus 13.4. So Debo's projection is effectively 40% higher than Jaden Reed's, and yet they cost about the same. So Jaden Reed is a terrible on-paper play compared to Debo or Terry McLaurin, really.
And to take that a step further, if you look below, you've got Romeo Doubs, who actually projects at a better prop projection than Jaden Reed for half his price.
Yeah. Doubs is clearly the better play. 9.3 projection, 4K salary. And Doubs even projects above Matthew Golden. Although, I'll still take my shot with Golden. It only
definitely
takes
have exposure to Golden. Yes.
Yeah, at that price. But I think, Jaden Reed is almost, he's not full fadeable, but he's nothing I'd go near in any sort of lineup where I'm trying to get a high floor. I'm trying to cash with it. It's exclusively like YOLO tournament, throw him in there, but he certainly doesn't belong priced where he is.
The problem with declaring a guy fadeable like him is he's not going to have any ownership. He will be maybe 2 or 3% owned.
Yeah. No, it'll be higher than that. It's a showdown, Bobbywow. There's no way.
We'll have to see. To see.
I will turd hat bet. I'm not gonna. This is not a turd worthy bet.
No, it's not.
But I will gentleman bet you that his ownership projection is somewhere in the 13 to 16% range. when it's all said and
At
done.
captain?
Not a captain. No. I'm talking
about
flex
captain.
now. No, he won't be owned at the captain's.
Flex, he'll be 10 to 15%. Yeah.
Yeah, in the flex. No, at captain, you're right. 2%, maybe 2-3% range at captain. I don't think he's going to be that high owned in the flex, is what I'm saying.
The prop projection makes it pretty clear.
Yeah. You don't want to touch that. These projections, guys, they tell the tale. You should listen to them. Tell the tale.
And that's how I've been trying to identify my sneaky captains. Okay, that's one of my secrets.
Is it Romeo Dubs? I don't know if it's sneaky. We don't have ownership projections, but like
I don't know that Dubs will be very sneaky. But again, like he doesn't have to be sneaky for you to get leverage. Let's say he is 6-7% owned at captain. Go 15%. If you're running out 150 lineups, get some leverage there because the prop projection tells a story. Same with Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft in a similar boat here. He's just as capable of a pass catcher as really anybody in that offense. Obviously Golden is, he could be a stud, but
same prop.
Tucker Kraft prop projection, very good at 5,400. You got to trust that prop projection as you're building your lineups here.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft projected above Zach Ertz, and Zach Ertz is priced above Tucker Kraft. So that could
we see, we talked about Eckler and Krosky Merritt earlier, right? I think, again, Eckler has that pass catching upside in a shootout style game or in a game where the Commanders are trying to keep pace with a Packers offense that's humming. I think that's kind of being reflected in the props here. Almost a 10-point prop projection. He will absolutely be in my captain pool as far as my exposures are concerned.
I forgot to come back to this when we looked at the player pool, but the guesses were pretty close to spot on price points for Eckler and Krosky. Ja'Cory, $200 more than Austin Eckler. Does not project as well as Austin Eckler does, but that's going to be because Eckler is getting a significant receptions prop that, on DraftKings is just going to, like his touchdown possibility is probably about the same, but the projection prop is higher. My guess is in the end, though, Ja'Cory will handle the ball more times.
Yes, I would. Yes, I agree with you. I think what it comes down to is whether or not he can score a touchdown. If Ja'Cory can find the end zone, then that makes a little more. I almost like the idea of maybe betting the touchdown bet for Krosky Merritt anytime, and then hedging with Eckler and DFS or whatever. He has to score a touchdown on DraftKings to be relevant.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely. Josh Jacobs, 10-6 at home, facing a Commanders defense that's not that great at stopping the run. Like, they don't have any special, we're good at stopping the run reputation. Is this a game where the Packers are going to lean heavy on Jacobs like they like to do? And is Jacobs the best he's just as good as anybody, but is he the best sort of quarterback or the best captain play that, I don't know. Is he superior to these wide receivers?
To me, he's the best non-QB cash captain. I think his ownership is going to be really high. So I think there's a case to be made in going underweight on DraftKings on a guy like Josh Jacobs. Again, remains to be seen what the ownerships are, but I would guess his captain ownership is going to be at least 10 to 15+%. And at that rate, he's great in cash. Maybe someone I might want to be underweight on in tournaments, though.
I don't even mind him at that level of chalk. If he's getting it done, he's getting it done.
Yeah, but last game he had a great game. He didn't even put up that many points, right? How many points did he end up with?
I don't know if he got in the end zone. He did have a good game.
Scored
19
a touchdown.
carries. 66 yards. Only one target. So he got the touchdown, but just unexciting game. That game just was slow.
But again, a game where Jacobs had 20 touches. That's the thing with Josh Jacobs is he will get a lot of touches, but he has games where it's a good game, but not a great game for DFS. That's kind of what. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in tournaments. That's why I suggested what I did.
It comes back to they don't throw him the ball that much, and what it leads to is these scores that require a ton of volume in order for them to pile on, right? Like when you're just running the football, and he's no Derrick Henry, he needs like 33 carries to cross 100 yards and a touchdown. Like he just but he did it last year. I can't go to last year's game logs on the screen, but if you look at his game logs, like a lot of the games were 30 plus carries. Like it was just a carry fest, a volume fest for him.
It all came down to multiple touchdowns or not for Jacobs, and he had plenty of games with 2+.
Yeah. Bobby, talk for a second as I have to release the cat from the office.
Yeah, I don't know if that cat was trying to tell us something or not. They're meowing when we're talking about Jacobs, but just kind of looking down the list here, other viable captain plays. We talked about Romeo Doubs and Tucker Kraft tournaments. I think they're great captains. The prop projection tells a similar story. I think, you could even make a case for like guys like Dontavian Wicks and Noah Brown in MME. If you're looking for like a 5%, get a little leverage on the field at low ownership still. I think those two guys, WR3s, Noah Brown, deep threat guy for Washington, Dontavian Wicks. If Jaden Reed is limited again, he's another guy I could see more snaps. We've seen him score touchdowns before. So, I think those two guys are in play as well.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And Noah Brown especially. But yeah, we've seen Wicks have a big game. We've seen him put up 20 plus. I've seen Noah Brown put up 20 points in a game in his career. Yeah. I always want to have seen it from the player. I don't care when or where, but if they've done it ever in their career, I feel like they can do it again.
Why not?
Like I need to see it. But yeah, Noah Brown could be, 3,200. There's a lot of affordability on the slate. I'm getting a bit of a vibe of that it won't be that hard to make lineups because of these pay down wide receiver options that are so damn good. I think we'll be able to really fit whatever we want on DraftKings on this slate. Let's look at the turd zone here. Is there any super turd of interest at all? And I'm going to scroll up. John Bates is on the field, but right. Not exciting. Chris Moore, Savion Williams. Backup wide receivers. Do we need to go here? Jeremy McNuckles. Do we need to go here?
Probably not. I don't think you have to get overly turdly. Like Malik Heath, maybe you could have not a captain. Definitely not a captain.
No, I'm talking of flex turds now. Like a $200 Malik Heath. Let's go back to the matchup sheet.
He played 20% of the snaps, 23%. Like you might want some exposure in MME to him. He's a guy I would not uncheck, but not crazy. Chris Brooks, he's in the game, but he's more of a blocker. He doesn't really touch the football a whole lot.
He got a couple of, they do use him just a smidge.
More so that, if an injury were to happen to Jacobs, you'd probably want some Chris Brooks.
You don't think it's Emmanuel Wilson I think it's Emmanuel Wilson who would get the role. I don't even think it's Chris Brooks.
He's 3K. So it's not like an injury means he's going to be in the nuts for sure. So Chris Brooks would definitely get more touches as well. Yes, it's Emmanuel Wilson too, but
yeah,
I guess long story short, I'm not convinced by any of these guys.
I think Chris Brooks is he's sort of the third down scat back role for the team. I think his role actually might not change all that much. Like he'll be a little more in the game, but primarily I think the replacement for Jacobs probably be Wilson with Chris
Brooks.
Which
is why he's priced higher.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Yeah. All right. Interesting stuff. I don't think we need to dive that deep into the turds, like I said, because you got Romeo Doubs and Wicks who are priced as turds, who are pretty much going to be on the field a lot based on the injury stuff that's going on. So, and with the Commanders, they don't, we know who they're going to. It's McLaurin, Debo, and Noah Brown. They're not really, and Ertz. They don't really spread the ball around that much on that team. The spread happens at running back with Jacory and Eckler. But like I said, I like both Jacory and Eckler at their price. I don't know if I like them together in the same game.
Yeah, I would say definitely Eckler more on DraftKings. I favor him because of that PPR. The one guy we didn't mention is Jalen Lane. He's not super turdly priced. I think he's 1,600? Yeah, 1,600. He's a guy that's on the field. He was on the field for 30% of the snaps or so for the Commanders. Another kind of turdly option that you can rotate in the flex, in deeper tournaments.
30% snap count, couple of targets. Low ownership, GPP punt right there. Not much more. Bobbywow, let's throw a DraftKings sort of, I don't know, a sample lineup together that could be used in, we'll kind of put it together a little bit and show what can be done. So if you had to choose just one captain for this slate, who would it be?
If we're kind of making a hybrid, if it was cash, it'd be Jaden Daniels. But if we're doing a hybrid, let's go with Debo.
All right, so you put Debo up top, just Debo, to be a little different, and then you put Jalen in there, Jaden right there. That's your start.
Boom.
All right, so from here, where do we go?
Let's trust the props. Let's go Eckler and Dobbs.
Well, actually, let's look at the prop projection. Let's let Desus take the wheel here.
Based on Desus, my next year would be Eckler, Dobbs, and Kraft.
Dubs is the guy. He's the next man up. So you got Eckler, Dubs, and Kraft. But so Eckler over. Okay, Eckler, Dubs. Dubs is so cheap. Look how far down I got to scroll. And then you can, Tucker Kraft, fine, 5,400, 9K. All right. Scary Terry could fit there. Get Jalen, Krosky Merritt if you want. Can't quite get to Jolo. Would like to get to Jolo or Jacobs. I feel like you need one of these two. So actually, the name I'm going to unfriend here is Tucker Kraft. I say we go Jacobs rather than Jolo. And then you could finish it out with a kicker. Defense, Wicks, Brown.
Yeah, that's definitely, I would say, maybe more of a GPP leaning than cash, but yeah,
I kind of like it. If I was cash, I think you got to take the quarterback in there, right? In a cash game, and then you get the 5,300 for the last spot, and now we could pick. Wait, there are two kickers under Green Bay. I'm assuming McManus is the actual one.
Yes.
So. Yeah, Dubs love McManus.
There you go.
You know what? That's a usable lineup right there. I used it. Oh shit! Now I get to tie with like 500 people that just watch this video. Guys, don't put the same lineup in. I want to tie with you. All right. Let's shift focus to FanDuel. FanDuel half-point PPR format has copied the DraftKings format for the rest of their showdowns. They now have a captain. Forget the MVP. It's a captain. He pays out 1.5x. I'm not going to call it MVP, Bobbywow, because DraftKings coined the term captain for that role. When the salary goes up and the fantasy points are 1.5x, that is a captain.
Okay, but it helps us differentiate between the two sides. Oh gosh, okay.
Refuse. I shall call it heretofore the captain. And if you have credit left over from your FanDuel Millie Maker entries last week, you know who got a credit? Bobbywow, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. Okay, we had a member win $50,000 taking third place in the FanDuel Sunday Million last week in that big contest I told everybody to play in, right? Yep. We had a guy, he won $52,000 in total in that contest with all of the lineups that he put in the top 100 multiples. The domination station was dominative. What did I just say?
I don't know.
I used a word that I just made up a word. It was domination from the domination station. We had a couple guys actually crush in FanDuel last week. But so not only, and here, let me throw this up on screen, because not only did he return the 50K win. See, of course, I didn't have it prepared, so I got to show it on screen, right? Not only did the Styles man win 50 grand, but he actually told me right afterwards, I'll blow that up. But he's like, he also got a couple $100 back on the entries that didn't cash. Bonus.
Talk about sticking it to the man.
Stick it to the man. He took him for 52K and got a couple of extra bucks back for the lineups that didn't cash. How do you like that? Looks like you only put it 4 lineups, only Only one lone non-casher right there. So very impressive stuff from the Styles man.
We need we need that Kirk Cousins quick little video clip. You like that?
You like that? I'm just as dorky as Kirk Cousins. Actually,
Kirk.
I can pull it off.
I miss him, man.
Yeah.
The 49ers should trade for Kirk Cousins. All right,
now.
I'm done. I'm done talking about it.
You ready for it right now? Yeah, no one wants the teams that are losing. They want to keep losing. The Saints are like, no, we don't need Cousins. We're fine. We like the Rattler. We're good.
Gosh.
Where were we? Oh yeah, we're going to talk a little FanDuel here. So let's shift gears, talk about FanDuel. But guys, reminder as I'm shifting gears, if you're watching and enjoying the program here, let us know who your favorite captain is for this slate. Who are you taking a shot on? DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever you want. Who's your captain of the slate? Hit us up in the comments, guys. So let me go to Showdown, single game. We'll pull this game up. And again, reminder, in this format, we are going to definitely be favoring quarterbacks, and Jaden Daniels, far and away, the best play at captain. I think Jaden Daniels deserves about 40% captaincy on FanDuel. What do you say?
Yes. His prop projection is 6 points higher than the next closest guy. Yeah. Maybe that's MVP. So it's
MVP. But yeah, the normal prop is multiple. Higher. Yeah, 6. Jolo is at 17. Jaden Daniels is at 21.
21. Yeah, so 4 points higher. There we go.
Yeah.
Still, that's a meaningful difference.
In this format, I would not fade Jones, Jordan Love, and Jacobs in the same line. I'm not going to fade it. But again, I think you're right in the sense that they are wildly negatively correlated, primarily because they don't really throw to Josh Jacobs that much. Like I said, if he's scoring touchdowns, that usually means that Jolo is not throwing for touchdowns.
Exactly.
So there's like a very and if he's not, if Jacobs is not running for at least 1 and maybe 2, you're simply just not going to have a he's not going to be in the winning lineup. He's not going to score enough just rushing it. I will caution Bobbywow. There is a version of this game that could play out actually relatively high scoring.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a 49-point total. I think that's maybe more likely than not here.
I mean, to blast through the 49 and we start seeing like a real barn burner type of a game. I think that's within the realm because this Washington offense can be unstoppable at times.
Yes, absolutely.
And like, I think the Packers rely a little bit on their defense and then they just chillax after they play defense and kind of like lean heavy on the run, slow the game down, old school Packers football. You know what I mean? But I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull that off here with Jaden as dynamic as he is.
Yeah. And you know what? Can we just one more? I don't want to beat a dead horse, but just to kind of take it one step further with Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs has 1 receiving touchdown in his career. Okay,
I did not know that stat.
It's not to say that it can't happen, but it's a showdown. Anything can happen. But again, that is a risk I'm willing to take. If he scores a receiving touchdown, okay, he beats me. He beat the odds by quite a bit. That's why I'm at where I'm at with kind of keeping those guys separate, especially if one's captain or MVP.
Yeah, it's just their negative correlation. We can recreate that. See, one of the beautiful things about the Sim Boost rule is we can recreate that. If you say, hey man, when I play Jolo, I want to decrease the projection for running back same team by 10% just because they're negatively correlated. We can simulate that negative correlation right here with the optimizer tool. And this is why thinking through game flows and those kind of situations and getting correlations right, we have that ability to make the tool create lineups that look much more handcrafted. Like one of the things, if you're handcrafting, you already know, I'm not going to click those names. But if you want to run 20 or 150 or a large number of lineups using these tools, which again, producing winners every week, you might want to use this, right? So you can make rules that will simulate almost like a handcrafted approach to lineup building, which is one of the reasons I absolutely love this tool and how versatile it is and how versatile it is with the end user, allowing them to really bring out whatever vision of the slate that they see, make it a reality. So yeah, we got our rule in here. Joe Low in lineup, decreased projection, RB, same team, 10%. And I would actually expand this rule and kind of add a statement, increase projection for WRTE, same team, by 15%. And now we got an even better version of that rule.
I love it. I love it.
And
I hate full fading and making a rule that rules something completely out.
Yeah.
That's what Siths do, okay? Only Siths deal in absolutes. We don't have to do that anymore with the Sim Boost. It's beautiful.
Here's my concern about the Sith thing. What does a Sith master, a Sith apprentice do to the Sith master once that Sith has surpassed the master? I'm just saying, it feels like it's hitting home a little bit here, Bobbywow, and it's scaring me.
Okay,
scaring me.
Fair enough.
Let's never bring that one up again. Oh, the student has finally surpassed the master. Now the master must die. No! What? No.
Oh my gosh.
Let's be a Jedi instead. They're kind to elders. Sorry, that was some nerding out at levels that you will rarely see. Ivan knows the rule of two. You guys are all fucking dorks.
It's the best.
You're all
off of his head.
Nerds. Love it. The rule of two. I don't even know how to bring this back to where we were because we just went off the rails at a level I don't normally go. So, okay. All right. I'm back. All right. So, back to FanDuel discussion. So obviously on FanDuel, we loves us some running backs. Let's take a look at the price point of Ja'Cory and Austin Eckler. So here we get, Ja'Cory a little bit more expensive. I think Ja'Cory is, do you think he's higher likelihood to score a touchdown? I want to get the sports book out. I'm wildly curious on the touchdown prop. I'm guessing, and guys in the audience, do me a favor, check the touchdown prop. Don't make me pull it up on my screen. It's going to mess up my computer.
I would guess he is more likely to score here. That'd be my assumption.
I'm guessing plus 100 for Bill Merritt. I'm going to say plus 130 or plus 140.
Wow.
For Austin Eckler.
DraftKings. It's DraftKings. He's plus 215 to score.
Which one?
Merritt.
Merritt. Plus 215.
Eckler is plus 225. I mean, that's really close. That's First off, plus 200, 215. That's not ideal, but they're really close in terms of their touchdown prop. That's kind of surprising.
Both of those props are terrible, though. Like
exactly right.
That does not bode well.
Not enticing.
I think that's too low. Those are bettable spots, by the way. I think you can actually bet both of those and get your money back and make a little bit of money. Bill Clinton Merritt, Captain Worthy. I'm going to say no.
That would be a silly for the millie. Like Jaden Daniels ends up with a turtly score and Ja'Cory Merritt runs 2 touchdowns in. Yeah.
Anything
on all likelihood, no. But
I would say I wouldn't. You don't have to uncheck it. Like if I got 3 or 4 lineups like that, I'd be okay with it. But that's not where this is going to be the Jaden Daniels slate, or it's going to be like a Debo or one of those pass catchers. That's really what I think it's going to be. I think it's so tough to trust any of the Packers. So I'm definitely going to lean more towards like the guys on the Commanders. But, Jaden Reed, man, if it wasn't for the foot, I feel like with the foot, he can't get you 30. But how the hell would I know? But what do we know about the foot? You know what I'm saying? Like, here's what happens. We try to be doctors. And then he goes out, all right, coming off a 37% snap count. He clearly is hurting. He's got a fracture. And then we watch the game and he plays 80% of the snaps. And you go like, who knew?
Yeah, all we can do is look at the numbers, right? It's pretty indicative to me that he only ran 12 routes last week, that, something's going on. They're trying to get it healed up. But again, we don't know for sure.
Days, Bobbywow. It hasn't been a lot of healing time.
Right, exactly.
It's like
it's not like he went on an Aaron Rodgers retreat and all of a sudden, he's healed now. Someone commented here, interesting take with Jacobs, think they may score enough where that's muted. Absolutely. They could score, they could be in the same lineup. That's certainly possible, especially in the flex. I just don't think you're taking down a tournament. I think it's more unlikely that you take down a tournament with both those guys in your lineup, is what I'm saying.
They haven't smashed together, but of course, in a single game environment for in Czechwy, in a single game environment, my pronunciation of the name I wanted to put on screen because I was impressed by my pronunciation of it. I think I nailed it.
What in Czech? Where's the cuss sound?
In Czechwy?
Where are you getting the
in Chewy. Oh, there's no. I still think there's a K sound in there. Anyway,
I still think
I feel like it should be in there. Where were we?
So yes, it's rare that they're smashing together, is what we were saying.
Yeah,
possible, definitely. You're absolutely right. It's possible. But
yeah, the point I was gonna make was in a single game, you never know. It could be a weak score for Jolo, but he just gets there because no one else scores.
Because there's multiple cheapies. There are multiple cheapies that you can squeeze those guys in. They don't have to score 20. They could score 15 maybe and be in the winning lineup.
It's like when you play one of these and Justin Jefferson only gets an 18, but he's still in the winning lineup, even though he was priced at 10K. And technically it should have been like a 35 to make value against the salary. It's raw points matter in showdowns more than they matter in a main slate where salary comes much more into play.
But that's the thing here. This is a great, I think, maybe lesson in DFS is this is the type of cognitive dissonance, this back and forth. You could have this back and forth conversation all day about anybody, but at some point within your process, you have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to look at Occam's razor here. Could they both be in the same lineup? Yes. Has it happened before? Yes. But am I more likely to take down a tournament if I have one and not the other potentially? I think that's true. Yes. And so that is the point where I would say, okay, they beat me, but part of my process is I'm going with this direction and I'm sticking with it.
You have to be willing to lose most of the time if you're going to have a chance. This is like the theme, not of just this year of DFS, not of just this year, but of the back testing season. So I'll reiterate the point that you just made. You have to be willing to lose most of the time in big GPPs in order to be a profitable long-term tournament player, because you're going to have to always kind of take stands and always fade chalk. There's certain things that you always need to be doing. It will cause you heartache when it doesn't work. It will make you think yourself as stupid when it doesn't work. But if you fully convince your mind that the only way to win long-term is to be on the plus EV side of ownership and don't care, that is going to lead to long-term profitability and long-term more winning, and certainly more actual tournament takedowns, which, listen, that's kind of why we're doing it. I have a different way of playing, like I said, for multipliers than I play in these tournaments. That's why, right? We can play our certain way for multipliers, profitability. For tournaments, embrace the losing until you win.
Yeah, let me sum it up. Let me sum it up with this. And maybe this is going to be the dumbest thing ever that anyone's ever heard, but I think the question that I ask myself if I'm trying to take down a tournament is, how can I increase my chances of taking down a tournament more than decrease my odds of losing, if that makes sense? Like, yes, you could lose with Josh Jacobs and by excluding those two, but I think you increase your chance of winning more than you increase your odds of losing
by excluding them in the same lineup together. Let me throw my my FanDuel. See, I still have some of that bonus cash, even though I played.
Ooh,
I still got 120 in bonus cash from the big contest. They did not do, by the way, just for my FanDuel people, they didn't do another absolute free money like week one. If you didn't do it, sorry, you didn't watch my videos all week and you done fucked up, because it was the freest money you will ever get. And of course, the Stylesman 50K richer for having played in that contest. But look, I get to reuse the money. So I get to reuse the money. So let's jump in here. Oh, what I was saying before is they did do, it's the $4 contest is the overlay one.
Yes.
So they have a $4 and a $250. The $4 is 20 max. So I'm going to advise everybody who's watching this right now, if you did that tournament last week, like I already did, and I'll show you that I put my money where my mouth is, and I tell you to do the things that I do. I have already reserved this contest. It is called, I don't even know what it's called. Good job. I clicked on something that didn't show me, but it is a 20 max. Here it is. Yeah, the Sunday NFL Snap top 50% paid. Let me show you what they did. Sorry, this is a side note, but there are 67,500 entries, each putting in $4. If you multiply 67.5 times $4, and I'll round it up to 7, 14, 21, 28. This contest, and it's not 28, I've got to remove 10,000, so it's $270,000 in the contest, but they're paying out $300,000. That's what free money looks like. Every other contest on DraftKings, if they collected 300, they would only pay out about 260,000 or 250. Here they collect 260,000 and they added $300,000 to the player pool. That means free money for everyone. And chewy. I got it right, but did I say Nchukwi?
You said like Nchekwi, and you were sure about yourself, and then you
you
doubled down. You doubled down
because there's a guy in the UFC called Kennedy Nchukwi, and I think that was getting into my head. Nchukwu. Definitely from. I'm going to say definitely from like Nigeria. I'm making a prediction.
God, that's
Is that really too specific?
It just feels like a gutsy prediction, or maybe gutsy, risky. I don't know.
He'll let us know. And yeah, AZ Harris says, listen, I wanted it to be the 150 in fairness. I want to flood it with 150 entries, but they're only letting me do 20. So, there it is. All right, let's get into it. Let's build a lineup here on FanDuel, Bobbywow, and we'll get in because I want to talk about some of these super turds and how to make a lineup work on FanDuel. So let's see what it feels like when we throw Jay Daniels in there at the captain. He's expensive. Certainly want Debo in there as well, I would say. Where are we going from here?
Man, I still like Dobbs. I think Dobbs
down 4,200. Yeah, you can't.
Or Tucker Kraft. Look, I understand why you're a little hesitant about Tucker Kraft. I think he was way overhyped in week 1. And I think, you made the right call. Yeah. I think in a showdown game, though, I think he might have the best pass odds of any pass catcher to score on the Packers.
I feel like if you play Dobbs and Tucker Kraft, is it Jolo that needs to be forced in there?
I don't think you need to force it, but I think it makes sense, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, you have to choose here between Jolo or Jacobs.
If Kraft, I think it's very reasonable that those guys could be in there with 10 points, 9-10 points. Maybe it's 6 catches and 6 catches and 50 yards for Kraft. 9 points and then one, maybe one touchdown. But just because Jaden Daniels could put up so many points, where that's just how it works out.
I don't mind this. I think I found a lineup that I kind of like here. I don't mind this at all. You could throw Eckler in the last spot, or you can get a little crazy with it and throw a kicker in the last spot. I feel pretty good about that. Even Zach Ertz down here, leaving some salary on the table, doesn't bother me.
You could plug in all 5 lineups right there, just boom, 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 rotating that last guy in. I love it.
This is kind of a base, a bit of a base, and then I would start jumping between Kraft, Jolo. I might do, I jump around, do a Jacobs version, a kicker in there. So I think this is a pretty good baseline, but I think pretty much Jaden to Debo, that would be my starting stack for sure on both sides.
Yep. And then, and don't forget T-Mac in there too in tournaments. He could easily break the slate.
No question. But I think Debo is the one I definitely want in.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. McLaurin, all those guys. But Debo is that guy that I want in there because they're using him as a running back. I think he might run for a touchdown. I think that's why the Ja'Cory.
He ran for one last week, right?
That's why those numbers are so bad with Eckler and Billy Merritt. It's because they're like, it might be Debo. It could be Jaden. There's now 4.
Right. Jaden Daniels is 1A, Debo 1B, and then those 2 guys are 2. Right.
How many players can run in a touchdown in a single game? So this should be an interesting one, guys. Lots of affordability because of Dubs and Wicks and yeah, primarily because of Dubs and Wicks and how much they're going to, especially Dubs, how much he'll be on the field relative to his salary. So I think it creates an interesting affordability. We've got a lot of punt plays with Ertz and Noah Brown and a bunch of those guys. So this should be a fun little showdown to get week 2 started.
It's going to be, this is a fun one.
Yeah. All right, guys, reminder, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the DFS Army YouTube channel for all the shows. Tournament Tactics is every Friday at 5 p.m. Burns, Bobbywow, Josiah, and myself breaking down the whole slate. That's where you get the gold nuggets of information, hopefully. So we'll have it all broken down for you on Thursday. Don't forget, we're celebrating a Millie Maker win in NFL Week 1. Can we do it again in Week 2? I don't know. But what we can do is offer you a fun discount in celebration of the Millie win. Promo code Millie up until lock will get you 20% off a fresh DFS Army sub. Can do NFL, VIP, whatever you want. And of course, guys, we want to see you taking down tourneys. Helmets up, everyone. We'll see you back here, same time, same channel on Friday at 5. Take care, everybody.